I want you to think back to the end of 2019. Most of the world hadn't even heard of COVID-19 just yet, still months off in the future. Donald Trump was in the White House, and he was facing impeachment in the U.S. Congress. In this place, this building, was supposed to have been completed by then. Hi, and thank you for joining me again for Tom's Take. You know, Kathleen Whalen of Whalen Financial pays for this weekend cup of coffee, and I want you to know how much I appreciate her and how much she appreciates Starved Rock Country. Give her a call or stop into her office on 1st Street in downtown LaSalle. It's in a nice professional building that's open to serve you. Ironically, it's just a couple of blocks down from this place, which decidedly is not a nice professional building, and it's clearly not open to serve you. This is the former Maytag building at the busy intersection of 1st and Joliet Streets in downtown LaSalle. CL Enterprises committed last January to having this building done in 16 months. We're 7 months in, and can you see any progress? I can't. This is how it looked then. But then, I pass by it every day, so maybe I'm just missing something. This building's supposed to have a Tangled Roots type business at the street level and apartments upstairs. That's the same thing they said almost 4 years ago. It's also the plan 3 years ago, when I asked CL why this project hadn't been completed yet. Well, CL Enterprises blamed it on COVID. Problem was, as I just pointed out at the start of this video, COVID was still months in the future when this thing was supposed to have been completed. Now, as you might have guessed, my decision to do this story for this weekend, in fact, is because CL Enterprises recently announced a plan to develop a new project in downtown Ottawa. They see it as an outdoor plaza and indoor event space. And they say it's going to be done in 6 months. In discussing the plan in Ottawa, CL Enterprises bragged it was going to be of higher quality than the outdoor space in Utica. Which brings me to the point I want you to keep in mind through the rest of this story. I love Ottawa. I do. And I want it to flourish as much as I want to see success in every corner of LaSalle, Bureau, and Putnam counties. I completely reject the old way of thinking that our communities are in competition. Nope. I mean, unless you're a city official, any competition among our communities shouldn't move beyond high school. We need to think as a region, not as individual towns, tribes. That's the kind of approach that brings in the money, the businesses, the relocating workers. People who come to this region to spend their money don't care what town they spend it in. I go to the Apple store in one suburb and I have lunch in another. You think I care what town I'm in? No. It's just a region where I'm spending my money. Incidentally, if there were an Apple store here, I'd stay here and do it. I'd spend my money here. Money. I thought about it a lot this week. Now, why would CL continue to treat one part of the region, Ottawa, as a favorite child, and the other, LaSalle, as some kid that they've locked in their room? Why would they rush a project to completion in one place while they sort of grudgingly slouch toward completion of the 2 LaSalle properties? Why would they build big-time family fun in one downtown while they risk someone's injury or worse in the other downtown? The answer probably is money. Ottawa's downtown is light years more busy than LaSalle's is. Yeah, maybe CL Enterprises assumes that they have LaSalle wrapped around its finger, but CL's perspective almost has to be that they're losing money every day that they don't develop more places in downtown Ottawa. So what would you do? Would you do the fast cash grab in Ottawa? Or would you aim at more distant revenue in LaSalle? What would you do? If you say that you'd grab the cash in Ottawa, I'd also assume, at least I'd like to assume, that you'd also have considered that before you turned a couple of LaSalle properties into highly visible landfills. And if you're going to be a cash skimmer in one place, I'd at minimum hope that you'd want to be part of the growth in the other place. Remember, if you build it, they will come. That was the foundation for the entire plot of Field of Dreams, but maybe CL Enterprises is thinking, well, this is reality, and if we build it in LaSalle, they may not come. Now, if that's what's happening here, CL really should have thought about that years ago. Maybe it's not just money. Maybe CL Enterprises is manipulative. This is the door to the LaSalle City Council chamber in the City Hall building. It's on 2nd Street here, just about a block away from where I just was and a half a block from where I'm going next. This is the magical portal that's used by CL Enterprises to spin fantastic tales about beautiful, functional buildings that everybody can be proud of someday. They've come in with their bedtime stories for years. Not as often recently, of course, because the City Council and the Mayor have been showing their own frustration with CL Enterprises, and they recognize a fairy tale when they see one now. And CL Enterprises will come in and address their questions on occasion. Not every time they're asked, but when they feel like coming in, they'll come in. So this is where the magic's been happening. And this? Well, this is the other eyesore in downtown LaSalle, the famous Hotel Kaskaskia. If they're thinking that they can hide from the problems they themselves have created, then maybe I'm giving CL Enterprises too much credit. Maybe they're just clueless. They drive right past their LaSalle disasters to throw themselves into Ottawa and insult Utica. It's like they just don't get that LaSalle and Utica are going to find out how CL Enterprises really feels about them. Does CL get that there's this thing called the internet now? There are people like me who report what they are doing elsewhere? Do they think they're taking a stagecoach from here in LaSalle to the Ottawa City Council meetings? Maybe it's money. That's fine by me. Just meet your commitments. Maybe they're manipulative, and that's okay too, but they burned any goodwill that they may have had here at some point. Maybe they're just clueless. No crime there either, but they should understand what I said earlier. When it comes to attracting visitors, we have to think as a region, not a collection of tribes. Now, I should say this. I sent a series of specific questions this week to Nathan Watson of CL Enterprises. Watson is the guy who tried to tell me that COVID had held up the development of the Maytag property. But he did get back to me promptly, which I appreciated, and I told him that. But his answer was one of the no-comment comments that is full of talking points that we've seen before. I used to do that to reporters on occasion, too, especially when they hit me with questions that I didn't really want to answer. That's okay. Karma. What goes around comes around. I get it. Well, even if CL Enterprises does finish the building at 1st and Joliet Streets like they're now contracted to do, they have shown that they're not visionary. Not only are they not good for the region, they don't even think in terms of a region. In the long run, that approach is going to be bad for the area as a whole. But with fast money on the table, manipulation in the company culture, and cluelessness in general, CL Enterprises won't reach its full potential either. Well, that's my take for this week. I'd like to thank you, and I'd like to thank Kathleen Whalen of Whalen Financial for sponsoring this project. Now, if you're hearing this on the radio or on the free WLPO app, just a reminder that this is just the audio part that you're hearing of a video that's posted to the Starved Rock Media YouTube channel. You'll find it in the Tom's Take section up there. Now, if you have any thoughts on future episodes, maybe an issue, maybe a person or an organization, call me at the station at 815-223-3100. It's my pleasure to talk with you. And in fact, I'll talk to you in the morning.